So one of the most common questions I get about the micro dairy, it's already popped up quite a few times on YouTube, is why would you choose to milk a breed of cow that produces half the amount of milk as your modern Holstein? In all honesty, it's a fair enough question, but I think when you understand the answer, it kind of changes how you think about dairy farming and I think farming in general altogether. So I'm Hugh, this is Pentrefelin Dairy and we're a small micro dairy based outside of Llandyrnog in North Wales. If you've not seen the last video I did, we're basically a small cow and calf micro dairy. We sell all our milk direct to a couple of coffee shops and through our farm shop that we have on the yard. And yeah, after the last video I did, there seems to be a lot of questions around the breed of cow we choose or chose to milk. And so yeah, this video's for you. I'm just going to explain a bit more about the breed of cow we use here, because they weren't chosen by accident. There is a purpose to why we chose them, and they are very much the heart of the farm, and everything we do is focused around the cows and the soil. So yeah, this video's for you if you want to know a bit more about the red poll. So just taking the cows and calves back to the field after morning milking. It's always a nice little routine to do this. And yeah, so the red poll, they're what we call a heritage breed of cow. Heritage dual purpose, bred for both milk and for beef. And they actually originated from Norfolk, Suffolk area. And for generations, they were exactly what small farms needed, basically. A cow that could do both jobs off, low input. But then the industry kind of changed. Dairy started chasing yield more than anything. Beef started chasing daily live weight gain, and the red poll, just like a lot of other heritage breeds, kind of focused more towards the beef side of things. So yeah, it's a little bit sad, but it feels important to me that we're bringing the dual purpose traits back. But I'll explain a bit more about that after. So, like I mentioned in my last video, I spent a good 13 years working on a conventional dairy farm down the road. So I know exactly what a high yielding modern dairy cow needs to be able to perform the way she does. And I knew from the start that kind of animal wouldn't suit what I'm doing here. So, my ambition from the start has always been to show people that you can produce beef, you can produce dairy in a way that has a positive effect on the environment. And I think these old heritage breed of cows, they were bred for exactly that by a generation of farmer that I don't think they had a choice. They had to do what they could from grass, low input, and they had to work off what the land gave them. And yeah, so your modern dairy cow wouldn't fit this system because that's not what she's been bred for. That's my opinion, basically. So she's been bred to do a completely different thing. High inputs, housed, milked 2 or 3 times a day, and yeah, the full works basically. So you put her in a regenerative system like this where she just has to perform on grass, it's not really fair at all. They're not going to perform. So yeah, I think that's why the red poll fits what I'm doing here so well. I've not had to reinvent the wheel at all because the breed already knows exactly what to do. And yeah, for the last 30, 40 years, like a lot of these old heritage dual purpose breeds, they have kind of drifted more towards the beef side of things, and the dairy lines have slowly been disappearing quietly. So, it feels really important to me that what we're doing here is trying to bring the old dairy genetics back, or dual purpose, shall I say. So yeah, that's something I find really exciting, and yeah, something I'm looking forward to doing over the next few years. So somebody asked in the comments with the last video about how much milk do these cows actually produce, like litres per acre, and the answer is it varies a lot, and it's quite hard to put a specific number on it, but I'll try and give you a rough idea of what they average. So this cow behind me, she's one of the original 4 I had, and she's actually got some really old, nice dairy genetics in her. So at the minute, she's quite freshly calved. She calved maybe 3 weeks ago, and she'll fill a 15 litre churn up. She'll give 15 litres, no problem. But then the majority of the herd are quite young, quite first time heifers. So, you know, they might give a bit less, somewhere around 8. But I think overall the herd at the minute for this time of year are averaging between 8 and 10 litres each, basically. And that's enough for me to be able to make money off it. And yeah, but the most important thing for me, other than the yield, is that they fit the system more than anything. So what I actually mean by fitting the system is that we can get away with milking them once a day with no problems, basically. So I have got a couple of higher yielding cows. So this is Bella, she's a Jersey cross. I originally had 4 Jersey crosses, but what I found is the higher yielding cows, they're always the first you kind of get problems with, mastitis wise. So these girls ideally need milking twice a day. They're producing too much milk to be milked once a day, and especially the first couple of months, the calf drinking during the day isn't going to drink anywhere near what this cow's producing. So yeah, ideally she needs milking twice a day. So that's what I mean by fitting the system more than anything. It's more important to me that I get a balance of enough milk to make it profitable, but then not too much milk that I'm having to milk them twice a day. And the red pole seems to be the perfect cow in the middle, where you do get enough milk to make it profitable, but then you don't have to milk them twice a day, and they're still able to rear a nice chunky calf as well. So that's what I mean by fitting the system. So someone else also asked whether I'd consider milking Welsh Blacks. Well, the answer is I already do. I've got 5 Welsh Blacks in the herd, and yeah, they're a great cow. Surprises a lot of people, actually. But when I first started buying my own cows about 7 years ago, I did buy some Welsh Blacks as a bit of a beef herd, but then as I got busier with the red polls and started producing more milk, I kind of put the Welsh Blacks to side and sold a few of them. But I really wish I hadn't, because they fit the system really, really well. They fit the system really well. Like she's a hell of a cow. She's calved freshly about 2 weeks ago maybe, and she'll give 10, 12 litres a day, this cow behind me. So yeah, I actually kind of regret selling the Welsh Blacks that I did, because I think a micro dairy in Wales, just milking Welsh Blacks would be a hell of a story. And you know, they might not give as much milk as the red polls, but they're not far off. And yeah, they do fit the system really, really well. They do so well. So if you are considering setting up a micro dairy in Wales, I would highly recommend using Welsh Blacks. I'll just show you her calf. So yeah, and as you can see, you know, I'm literally right next to the calf. She's such a nice cow. They're so easy to handle. You would have thought her calf was black, but no, nice little red calf there. So Welsh Blacks are good as well. Another really important part of what I do here is the beef side of things. So dual purpose, you produce milk. There's a big emphasis on the milk that I do, but I also really enjoy producing beef at the same time. So all the male calves will stay with their mothers until they're weaned, and that's what goes through the beef box scheme on the farm. So he's a nice little chunky calf. So he'll be here now until he's about 2.5, 3 years old. And then we send them off to a local slaughterhouse in Wrexham. They're butchers as well, so they'll hang the beef for us, pack it, label it, so we get it back in boxes ready to sell through the shop basically. And we do a batch at the minute every 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. But as the herd grows, I'd quite like to get to the stage where we can maybe do 2 carcasses a month and have our own little cutting plant here on the farm. And I will be honest with you, the beef from these red poles is absolutely, it's lovely. It's really, really nice. It does, I shouldn't be saying this, but it does trump the Welsh Blacks, I think. I think you get much nicer beef from the red poles than you do with the Welsh Blacks. And yeah, I think the key's slowly grown, finished just off grass. So there's no shortcuts. It does take time, but you know, that's the beauty of having a dual purpose animal with this kind of system. It takes you a bit longer, but I think in the long run it is cheaper to produce as well. So and yeah, you get a really, really good product at the end of it to sell. The thing I keep coming back to with these red poles is, you know, they used to be, or they once were, a great dual purpose animal, and farmers across East Anglia relied on them for generations. And you know, the sad thing is the industry moved on, more specialist breeds came in, the Holstein for dairy, and then the more continental breeds for the beef basically. And I think the red pole kind of got left somewhere in the middle. But yeah, that's you know, that's what's really important to me, is that we're slowly trying to bring the dairy lines back. And every calf born here, every heifer that we keep, and every cow that we milk, you know, we're slowly bringing it back. You know, I've got to the point now where I can start to be a bit picky with the cows that I breed from. And then the key going forward is going to be my bull Ned. So he's actually he's out of a bull that was alive back in 1958, I think, and then a load of semen was frozen from that bull. So we're going to be using him over the next couple of years to really bring the old school genetics back. But I'm going to go into a lot more depth with that. I'll probably make a whole video on that and Ned in particular. So that's really, really exciting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that one. So yeah, I hope I've covered most things that people wanted to know about the breed. So yeah, going back to the basics really, the most important thing to me is that they fit the system. They're working for me, I'm not working for them basically, which is what I found tend to happen with the modern breed. And yeah, we're kind of using them as a bit of a tool, managing them in the right way that we can build soil health and all that kind of stuff. So it's not rocket science with these old breeds. They already know what to do. So hopefully this weekend, the next couple of days, we are going to be cutting the lucerne. We're a couple of weeks behind now because we've had showers and a lot of other things going on the farm. So I'm going to try and cover what we do with the lucerne silage in the next video. If you've got any questions about the red poles or what we do here or what you'd like to see in the next few videos, drop me a comment. I'll reply to all the comments. I appreciate them all. And yeah, subscribe to follow more. And yeah, this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to doing more of these videos, showing you more of the cows, showing you more of what we do here. So thanks very much. Well, we'll see you in the next video.